What if I told you that the very thing you think is keeping you safe is actually the thing that's slowly killing your potential? And what if I also told you that you could escape it in just 4 steps? There's a quiet violence in comfort. It doesn't announce itself with dramatic failures or obvious pain. Instead, it whispers that tomorrow will be different, that you'll take that risk next week, that you'll speak up next time. But next time never comes, does it? You wake up one day and realize you've been living the same year over and over again, just with different dates on the calendar. Your comfort zone isn't just a place. It's a prison you've decorated so beautifully that you've forgotten you're trapped inside it. It's that invisible boundary where everything feels familiar, predictable, and safe. But here's what nobody tells you. Safety and growth can't coexist in the same space. Today, we're going to explore 4 concrete steps to break free from this invisible cage. These aren't just theoretical concepts. They're practical tools that will help you reclaim the life you've been putting on hold. But before we dive in, I need you to do something that might feel a little uncomfortable. And that's exactly the point. Drop a comment right now and complete this sentence. I've been avoiding... Don't overthink it. Just finish that sentence with whatever comes to mind first. Because sometimes the thing we're most afraid to admit is exactly what we need to face. So let's start with the first step. Step 1. Identify your comfort zone boundaries. Most people can't escape their comfort zone because they don't even know where its edges are. It's like trying to escape a room when you can't see the walls. Your comfort zone has 3 layers. The first layer is your behavioral comfort zone, the things you do and don't do. Maybe you always order the same coffee, take the same route to work, or avoid speaking up in meetings. These patterns feel automatic, but they're actually choices you're making to stay safe. The second layer is your emotional comfort zone. These are the feelings you're willing to experience and the ones you'll do anything to avoid. Maybe you're comfortable with mild anxiety, but terrified of embarrassment. Maybe you can handle disappointment, but run from the possibility of rejection. The third and deepest layer is your identity comfort zone. Who you believe you are and who you believe you're not. I'm not the type of person who... Finish that sentence and you found one of your strongest prison bars. Here's what I want you to do right now. Think about a dream or goal you've been putting off. Now ask yourself, what would I have to do differently to make this happen? What would I have to feel? Who would I have to become? The resistance you feel when you imagine those changes? That's your comfort zone boundary. And the beautiful thing about boundaries is that once you can see them, you can cross them. Now, once you've identified these boundaries, you need to approach them strategically. Which brings us to our second step. Step 2. Start with micro-courage. Here's where most people get it wrong. They think escaping the comfort zone means making dramatic, life-altering changes overnight. So they quit their job without a plan, or they try to completely transform their personality in a week. And when it doesn't work, they retreat even deeper into their comfort zone than before. Real courage isn't about making grand gestures. It's about making small choices that honor your growth over your fear. I call these moments of micro-courage. Micro-courage looks like this. Ordering something different at your usual restaurant. Taking a different route home. Speaking up once in a meeting when you normally stay silent. Texting someone you've been meaning to reach out to. These actions might seem insignificant, but they're not. Every time you choose growth over comfort, even in the smallest way, you're rewiring your brain. You're proving to yourself that you can handle uncertainty, that you can survive discomfort, that you're more capable than your fears want you to believe. Here's the science behind it. Your brain has something called neuroplasticity, its ability to form new neural pathways. Every time you do something outside your comfort zone, you strengthen the neural pathways associated with courage and weaken the ones associated with avoidance. But this only happens through repetition. Think of it like building a muscle. You don't start by trying to lift the heaviest weight in the gym. You start with what challenges you just enough to create growth without injury. What's one small act of micro-courage you could take today? Something that scares you just a little bit, but not so much that you'll talk yourself out of it? But here's the thing. Even when you start taking these small steps, you'll inevitably run into an obstacle that stops most people in their tracks. And that obstacle isn't what you think it is. It's not fear of success or fear of the unknown. It's something much more fundamental. Which leads us to our third step. Step 3. Redefine failure. The biggest obstacle to leaving your comfort zone isn't fear of failure. It's your definition of failure. Most people think failure means not getting the outcome they wanted. But what if I told you that's exactly backwards? Real failure isn't trying something and not succeeding. Real failure is not trying at all because you're afraid you might not succeed. When you avoid taking action because you can't guarantee the outcome, you're failing in advance. Here's a different way to think about it. Every time you step outside your comfort zone, you've already succeeded, regardless of the outcome. Success isn't about getting what you want. It's about becoming who you need to become to get what you want. Let me give you an example. Sarah wanted to start her own business, but spent 2 years researching and planning because she was afraid of failing. When she finally launched, her first attempt didn't work out the way she hoped. From her old perspective, she had failed. But from her new perspective, she had succeeded in the most important way. She had become someone who takes action despite uncertainty. The business skills she could learn from books and courses, the courage to act despite fear, that could only be learned through experience. When you redefine failure this way, everything changes. Rejection becomes data. Mistakes become education. Setbacks become setups for comebacks. You stop asking, what if I fail, and start asking, what if I don't try? What would you attempt if you knew that the act of attempting was already success? This shift in thinking is powerful, but there's still one more piece of the puzzle. Because even when you've identified your boundaries, started taking small steps, and redefined failure, you'll still face moments where everything in you wants to retreat back to safety. That's where our final step becomes crucial. Step 4, build your discomfort tolerance. Here's something nobody talks about. Leaving your comfort zone isn't supposed to feel good. That's the whole point. If it felt comfortable, it wouldn't be growth. But here's what you can do. You can increase your tolerance for discomfort. Think of it like building calluses. The first time you do something new, your hands might blister. But if you keep doing it, your skin adapts and becomes tougher. Your emotional skin works the same way. Discomfort tolerance is a skill, and like any skill, it improves with practice. Every time you sit with discomfort instead of immediately trying to escape it, you're building this capacity. This means feeling nervous before a presentation and giving it anyway. It means having an awkward conversation instead of avoiding it. It means sitting with the uncertainty of not knowing how things will turn out. The magic happens when you realize that discomfort is temporary, but the growth it creates is permanent. That butterfly feeling in your stomach? It's not a warning sign. It's a growth sign. Here's a practical exercise. For the next week, deliberately seek out small moments of discomfort. Strike up a conversation with a stranger. Take a cold shower. Try a new activity that you're not naturally good at. Notice how the discomfort feels, and more importantly, notice that you can handle it. The goal isn't to eliminate discomfort, it's to stop being controlled by it. When you're no longer afraid of feeling uncomfortable, your comfort zone doesn't disappear. It expands to include your entire life. Now, let's pause for a moment and think about what happens when we ignore these steps. When we stay in our comfort zones, we don't just miss opportunities, we miss ourselves. We miss the person we could become. Your comfort zone might feel safe, but it's not actually safe. It's slowly eroding your confidence, your curiosity, and your connection to what makes you feel alive. Every day you stay in the same patterns, you're making a choice. You're choosing predictability over possibility, familiarity over fulfillment. The cost isn't just external. Missed opportunities, unexplored paths, dreams deferred. The cost is internal. It's the quiet voice that whispers, "What if?" in your most honest moments. It's the growing sense that you're living someone else's life, or a smaller version of your own life. But here's the beautiful thing. This isn't a permanent sentence. Every moment offers a new choice. Every breath is a chance to step toward who you're becoming instead of staying who you've always been. And that brings me to my final thought. Your comfort zone isn't your friend. It's not protecting you from danger. It's protecting you from life. And life? Real life happens in the space between what you know and what you don't know yet. The person you're meant to become is waiting for you on the other side of your fears. She's been patient, but she's also been lonely. She's the version of you that speaks up, that takes risks, that trusts herself to handle whatever comes. As the poet Rainer Maria Rilke wrote, "The only journey is the one within." But sometimes the journey within requires us to step outside our patterns, our assumptions, our carefully constructed walls. Your comfort zone will always be there if you need to return. But you were made for more than safety. You were made for growth, for adventure, for the beautiful terror of becoming who you really are. So, if this resonated with you, I want you to take one small step outside your comfort zone today. It doesn't have to be big, just real. And remember that comment I asked you to leave earlier? Go back and read it. That thing you wrote that you've been avoiding. Consider this your gentle push to face it. And remember, every expert was once a beginner who refused to give up. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.